not the actual solution. The reason why I say it is not an actual and a effective solution is because when you take a working capital loan, there is an interest that you need to pay, right? So on one end, you are offering credit to the customer, or you are asking customer to pay upon some time and he's not paying. Because of that, you are taking loan and incurring interest on top of it. So it is not a very effective solution to deal with late payments. In fact, when we have started doing a research across the country, we have realized number of businesses that are closing down. When we ask them why they are closing down, 80% of them have mentioned they're closing down because they have cash flow issues, because they have a stressful environment, and majority of them saying that payments are not coming on time, and then they have a cash flow issues, right? So this is a problem is so large for a country like India, correct? We all know it is not easy to get payment, because there is whole lot of a relationship that we maintain with the customer. At the same time, we have to keep on calling so many times to get our payment. Forget about getting the payment on time. Even to get payment after 60 days from the due date, even after the 60 days is over from the due date, we still have to do so many calls to get our payment, right? So there is so much of time, energy is invested in getting the payments. Think of a case if the same time and energy invested in growing the business, if the customers are paying on time, you would have all that time with you to invest in growing your business instead of dealing with customers' late payments, right? Now, our time is so productive, like directors, the business owners, your time is so productive. If you're able to put all that time in ensuring that you're growing your business instead of just following up, your business growth will be very effective, and most importantly, it is going to create a very sustainable environment, right? So the problem is so huge for a country like India. It is estimated that about 7 lakh MSMEs are shutting down for every 18 months due to bad cash flows. You can see my screen. 7 lakh MSMEs are shutting down for every 18 months due to bad cash flow. That's a huge number. And the recent report says that about 75 million small and medium businesses, they themselves contribute 40% to the GDP and employ about 180 million people. So when the idea of we are trying to go after and solving this problem, we started looking at how large this problem and what we can do for the country by solving this problem, right? When we solve this problem for MSMEs, we are solving the problem for an economy itself. So what we thought as a solution is, as I mentioned to you, banks have an opportunity. Banks have the chance and the facility to look at credit report before they offer loan to business or individuals. We thought, why can't we do something very similar for businesses, right? Where businesses will get an opportunity to check the history before offering credit. The entire problem lies because a lot of businesses offer credit without knowing the payment history or without understanding how their customer is actually performing in terms of financial health. So because we don't know that, we end up losing ourselves in the late payments problem. But if you have some information before you offer credit, you can take better decision. Think of a case, your customers approach you for a credit, and you can check the history and see if the payment history is very bad for the customer. In the last 3 months, he's not paying up his loans, or he's not paying up other customers and not clearing dues on time. Obviously, you don't want to extend your credit and run yourself into a problem. So this is what we thought, if banks are able to do it, why can't we do it for businesses? So that is the whole solution that we're talking about, how a credit bureau, a model which is implemented in the banking sector, can be implemented for businesses. On top of that, we started building a communication and engagement platform. So what happens is that every customer must also know their payment track record is getting getting recorded somewhere. It also can be viewed by other businesses. If customers know that, they will feel motivated to pay and ensure they maintain a positive track record. Today, they are not caring whether they're paying on time to another business or not, because nowhere it is getting affected for them. But the same business is paying up their loans to banks or credit card payments on time because they know it is getting affected if it gets affected in their credit bureau report. When you create a credit bureau for businesses, the same impact will also happen. So that is the solution that we are talking about, right? So the way we are going about implementing this solution is that now how banks are submitting all your loan repayments and credit card repayments to the bureau. Similarly, businesses they have to do is submit their customer dues invoice details onto our platform. Submit customer invoices onto our platform. The moment you start submitting customer invoices onto our platform, our platform will start communicating to your customer saying that it is getting tracked, or we communicate to the customer saying that you will get benefit of having a good financial profile if they pay on time. So we take that responsibility of communicating and creating motivation and encouraging them on how this whole process can help them, right? So one is submission of the dues to improve your collection. Second is you check your payment history before offering credit on the platform, right? You can do both the things. So that is what the platform that we have built. One is submit your invoices so that collections will be improved. On the other side, come onto the platform and check your customer's payment history. On the right side on the screen that you can see the current score and how many times payment is made on time. 512 of 588. Maybe by looking at this, you may want to take some decision. Okay, this person have paid 512 times out of 558 times on time, right? So this gives some sense of comfort when you offer a credit, right? This is just a glimpse of how a report looks like on the right side of the screen. But yeah, this report gives more information if you want to deep dive into the report. I will tell you how it works a little more in detail when it comes to collections. All you need to do when you come on to recordent.com, you just need to add your customer dues through an online form that we have or through an Excel sheet. The moment you add those dues, the platform, that is step number 2, the platform will start notifying customers and creates urgency to pay the dues faster. And this creation of urgency is not by sending payment reminders. This creation of this urgency by creating awareness why it is important for them to have a better payment record and how they can get access to loans, better loans, to get better loans and better credit by having good payment track record. So we create urgency with a very positive manner by making a lot of awareness initiatives through different ways, through different mediums of communication. Number 3 is if businesses wants to collect the payments through the platform, we have enabled that payment gateway. Even if businesses want to offer installment options, we have enabled that also, so that to make easier for customer. So the collections work is very similar, very simple. 1, 2, 3. All you just need to do is add your customer dues and just select, select for whom you want to send notifications or whom want to offer payment options. You just need to do a very simple job of just adding step 1, which is adding customer dues. Now, on the payment history, all you need to is you just need to enter customer details and search for the report. And once the report is searched, we will, through technology, there's an OTP that gets. Once you enter the OTP, you'll be able to receive the payment history. So that is very simple on the payment history part of it. That's how it works as far as the Recordent is concerned, platform is concerned, how you can use it. So what we have done, we have launched this platform before COVID last year. Launched in the sense we have actually tested our platform before the COVID and in the Hyderabad region, and we have seen a lot of big companies coming back and clearing the very old dues. So during COVID, we have spent building a very easy to use platform. Our concept of the platform is as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have ensured the platform should be very easy for businesses to use it. Then we launched it in September. When we launched it in September, one of our first customers is a very large electrical component manufacturing company where they had issues. That case study that you see on the screen, this electrical component manufacturing company had submitted about 545 customer dues. Almost 60% of them, more than 60% of them are 1 year plus actually dues, 1 year plus dues, and 90% of them are 6 months old. When the moment they submitted, our platform started sending communication, SMS, IVR, email, and we created awareness on how the payment track record is benefiting them. Within 2 months, they're able to collect 50% of the payments, and majority of the payments, majority of the customers who are not even responding for last 1 year, they have been able to collect. They've been able to come back and clear the dues. This is one such case study, but there are so many other case studies who are manufacturers, distributors, and dealers, and export trade businesses in export trade. They've been able to actually collect to the platform after submitting. There are also cases where we have seen 3-year, 4-year-old dues have been able to, they've been able to recover through the platform, which was a very, very interesting observation. So you may want to probably understand Recordent a little more. We are not talking about as a collection agency at all. So we are a credit bureau for MSMEs. Like how I mentioned how a credit bureau works for the banks. It's a credit bureau for MSMEs, but we start notifications to create awareness for businesses, because a lot of awareness needs to be created for businesses why they should have a good financial profiling. So that if good financial profiling means paying on time means that they have a better stand in the business community to get better credit or better loans. So we start doing a lot of these awareness, a lot of this literacy, financial literacy, that we keep doing it. So we are very different from any collection agency. We don't send any payment reminders. For example, you can see on the left side on the phone, the sample notification. You can see your overdue payment to TTK Enterprises on Recordent is affecting your payment track record. Check your report. So the moment, if you are a manufacturer, if you submitted your customer's details on our platform, your customer gets their report like this, a link to their report in the SMS, and that report is free for lifetime for your customer. So he can use that report to go and show to the banks. He can use that report even to take better credit in the market. In the same report, he has an option to pay also. He can see how the report looks like. So he's actually seeing how his report is, his report card, he's in front of it, he's seeing his report card on payments, and now he knows, oh, my payment is bad, this is 120 plus days or 150 plus days, so it is better that I clear. So he has an option to immediately make the payment from the report source. So that is actually triggering and generating a behavior that we have observed where customers are immediately clicking and paying and clearing the dues. Right? So that's number one differentiation. Number two differentiation, what is very interesting is that there are different businesses who are submitting on our platform. We're able to aggregate all the non-banking transactions at the business level. I mentioned to you about the electrical component manufacturing business. Then we have tea manufacturers, tea powder manufacturers, which are a public listed company, about 100-year-old company from South India. Then we have a large real estate company, real estate and construction company. Then we have a lot of large companies, majority of them, and we have smaller companies also, large companies, smaller companies, medium companies, different types of invoices coming into the platform, and we are able to aggregate a lot of payment transactions at industry level so that it is giving payment behavior. So that is the power of this platform, because invoices coming from major places in the country. If you look at differentiation 2, right? If you look at differentiation 2, what we're talking about is that all people who are thinking the credit bureau, the kind of credit bureau that we're talking about, all existing credit bureaus, which are CIBIL or Equifax or Experian, all of them provide payment history information only on loans and credit cards. Only on loans and credit cards. But if you look at what Recordent does is it provides on B2B payments and B2C payments. Primarily, it provides a payment history of non-banking transactions. So that's a major differentiation between any credit bureau today out there in the market. Any credit bureau that is out there in the market, which is giving reports to banks, and the credit bureau that I'm talking about is providing information on the non-banking payments. So we've been sort of covered. I mean, there's sort of some of the notable clients. There's fairly large ones. So we've been covered by media houses, and one of the interesting aspects that we've observed is that we have seen a lot of MSMEs, new MSMEs are coming thanks to Atmanirbhar, the initiative and all the Startup India initiative. A lot of new companies are coming up. Majority of these companies, majority of these new MSMEs don't have any information with credit bureaus because they have never taken a loan or a credit cards. So, but they all do payments to their other businesses, payments to their customers, payments to their vendors. So all that is getting captured, and banks are now interested to look at that for giving loan. So the banking industry and the lending sector considers our platform is going to play a very crucial role in taking that information to consider for dispersing loans. So that's why we are sort of considered as one of the high emerging startups that are who are redefining the lending sector in the country. Yeah, so some of the testimonials I'm not getting in there, but yeah. So we have today about the number 6,000 is changed. I think it's now 7,000 plus businesses on this platform, and we our businesses are sort of spread across 27 states and 3 union territories. So with a partnership with Equifax, today in our payment history, we have access to 25 million plus individuals and about 525 million plus businesses and 500 plus million individuals. So that's the sort of a coverage that we've been able to provide to businesses who are on our platform, right? So I think all it takes, like I just mentioned in one of the first slides, all it just takes is you just need to create an account, yourself. It's sort of free to start with, and start submitting your invoice. It's that simple, and our probably team can also help you how to use the platform better. So I think I'm moving on to the last slide. Yeah, this last slide. So this is what I have for all of you. Hope I made sense. Happy to take questions, and M.Shekar Garu, if you want to sort of have any particular questions around moderation, happy to interact. Or we can directly take questions if they have any questions. I think people can ask questions directly.
Yeah. Shekar sir, you can unmute. Mr. Shekar sir. You can unmute, sir.
Yes. Very good, useful presentation for our members, Winny. It is really our India is the technology platform providing a lot of solutions, and it is a very really innovative solutions where you provide the Bureau of Informations for the non-banking transactions. I think it will be going forward. It will be useful for all sorts of MSME, SME categories people. You mentioned that in case somebody logging in, and then you also provide a facility of payment gateway. Through your payment gateway, if you are collecting the overdues of the customers, how many days it will take credit to that particular client?
It should ideally take less than 48 hours for the same to reflect in the direct business bank accounts.
Oh, 48 hours.
Less than
So,
48 hours. Maximum is 48 hours. Mostly it'll happen in 24 hours. Less than 24
very
hours.
nice. And what kind of service charge you charge for that collections?
So when we talk about any collections, so if people are submitting businesses are submitting invoices, they want to opt for the collections engine. It is 1% only based upon the successful collection fee.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, but at the same time, there are a lot of businesses on our platform who customize their entire plan with us. So there are businesses who are paying 0.1, 0.2% on the collection fee because they are on a customized plans. So the idea is we want to keep it as flexible as possible for businesses because at the end of the day, each business operates with different margins and different environments.
Oh, good. So any kind of a new technology, new kind of model requires some sort of you need to provide a comfort to the customer who are joining. So suppose a new customer or new MSME, a business person who want to understand your services, whether you offer kind of a solution for a free day service, free trial service period, so that they'll understand and then they can become a member of yours.
Exactly, absolutely. If who wants to understand how the platform works, they'll be able to use the platform to start with at no cost, and then they can also move to the membership, paid membership. You're right.
So you any period for that the trial period is there or any limitation is there?
There is no limitation on the time period. We made it sort of free for the lifetime, but there are limitation in terms of usage of the services. There are some services that are only available for a certain number of days, and some services are not available in the free plan. So there are limitations on services, but otherwise the platform can be used free for lifetime.
Oh, fine, fantastic. I also request members also share their questions in the chat box, or they can unmute the thing and then ask the question. Meanwhile, I have one more question. I'll proceed. I'll finish off this question, sir. Winny, you were talking about yes, CIBIL has changed the many patterns of the credit behavior of the each individual customers as well as the corporate as well as the individual. So the same way you are now taking an effort to bring out a quality kind of a collections and the recoveries from the business side going to be more in a more formalized and technology based, where the efficiency will also be increasing. Going forward, do you have any idea to collaborate with the CIBIL to share these details so that when they lend a loan, these data also will be useful for them before sanctioning the loan or any kind of a credit kind of a history analyzing and then moving forward for the banking institution or the NBFC companies?
We are already, started talking to banks, and banks are willing to look at this data besides the credit bureau reports. So banks will have an option to see this Recordent payment history reports to make decisions. Especially banks are very interested in looking at this data because for them, majority of the business data is not so much available with credit bureaus. Whereas when you look at especially new businesses, if you look at individuals, they have lots of information, but when you look at new businesses, they don't have information, and they want to look at Recordent's payment history reports when they want to disburse loans, right? So that is something that is definitely we are already started doing, and going forward in the next 9 months time frame, definitely more time to using our reports.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. I think the role what you are playing, it is going to change the entire business recovery scenarios, and then their cash flow will also be improving, and then the credit, what you call the credit, taking the credit from the banks will also be expanding the business will also help. So in other way, you have only operating only from Hyderabad. Suppose in case any kind of grievances, now technology is available, everybody is comfortable with the technology thanks to Corona one way, because now people started using the technology.
Yes.
You have a physical presence other than Hyderabad?
So we are, first of all, our platform is technology digital platform. So people are using our platform from 27 different states in the country. And when we talk about our team base, we are based out of Hyderabad, then we are based out of Delhi, and then we are based out of Bombay. So, but most of the team actually works on the technology front, and then we have our executives also based out of different places like Calcutta and all of that. But as such, a technology platform, there is no harm or there is no challenge if we are not present in any place physically, because it's completely done through technology. It's completely done through technology.
Good.
I think it's a technology based, therefore there should not be a problem from operating anywhere. What kind of fees you'll be charging for those who want to join?
So the fee is differs based upon the number of customers the business has. For example, if business has about 200 customers, if for them it is 600 per year. If a business has about 500 customers, it is about 1,200 per year. Or if it has 1,000, it is 2,500. So there are different slabs. Typically, it costs less than 5 rupees per customer if you're using our platform per year. Less than 5 rupees per customer per year. That's how the, but if you want more customized, very dedicated support and services, it may be 5 rupees per customer, or maybe a little more than 5 rupees per customer. But otherwise, it is always less than 5 rupees per customer, how it works out per year.
I think that is a very good facility.
Any other participants ask questions? Please feel free to ask.
But I think we'll be expecting people to file their details, no?
Please.
Like
Somebody was
Sibyl,
asking. Yeah.
like
Yes,
Sibyl,
sir.
you will be expecting most of the MSMEs to furnish information to you.
Yes, so the entire model, the credit bureau model works for MSMEs if MSMEs start submitting more invoices on the platform. The more the invoices on the platform, the data will become more richer, and the other businesses can use it to make better decisions.
But MSMEs normally they have a mindset that they don't like to share the information. So how do you feel about it? Do you think that
That is where people like us have to come forward, because we understand the larger cause and the larger mission to change the landscape of the country by having accountability and trust in the system, right? And that is where our hard work in collaborating with chambers like yours and associations and governments to go and create awareness. So our focus is how do we create this education and awareness about power of using data for everybody's growth. Especially here, what happens in many MSME cases is that they only do business with people they know in their familiarity of the boundaries.
exactly?
The moment I provide a platform like this, MSME from Chennai may want to do business with somebody sitting in Guwahati if the MSME in Chennai knows the payment history of the business in Guwahati. So what will happen to this? It will open up a huge opportunity for MSMEs to grow beyond the familiarity of their boundaries. It gives a lot more intelligent information with data. It will help them grow faster, wider, and it really help them maintain better cash flows. Not only reducing risk, but will also help them increase their business.
I think it makes a good sense.
Yes.
Winny, have you taken any effort to get an accreditation from the government agency or from any regulatory bodies? You are doing it's a very good educational awareness also indirectly, and also creating environment of increasing their cash flows and all those things. So this by doing this exercise, if you also have that accreditation from the government agency or regulatory authorities, it will strengthen more to take the service to all the MSMEs. Have you taken any effort at ground?
So we started efforts in that direction, Shekharji, to collaborate with government and also to have government collaborate with us in this initiative. In fact, we started our initial dialogues with the government of Gujarat, And earlier we also had dialogue with the government of Telangana and also the government of India at the central level. So as a concept is really new, and they also understand this is very important. They would like to collaborate with us and work and go out and solve this problem. When it comes to accreditation and all of that, it is definitely going to happen as a part and parcel of going forward. But at this standpoint, we are all concentrating on how do we go and approach this problem and solve it at large scale. So definitely the accreditation, all of this would take place, Shekharji, because that is something that we are foreseeing that will happen in the near future.
Okay. Presently, you've been operating since September onwards. What is the number of customers from Chennai or from Tamil Nadu is being enrolled at the moment? Any number you can able to throw light on it?
That's a very good question. I could have prepared for this question actually. But today, I think about out of close to 3,000 businesses who registered on our platform, definitely there will be close to 200 or more than 200 businesses coming from Tamil Nadu. Maybe I can comment a little differently on this aspect. Our majority of the businesses is actually the top 5 states, like I call it, Maharashtra, Gujarat, then followed by Maharashtra, Gujarat, followed by Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana. So these are the top 5 states.
Fine.
And after that, Delhi NCR region. But yeah, so these are the top 5 states.
Oh, good.
So it will be definitely more than 200 businesses is what I'm assuming. So we had businesses even from Coimbatore, because I remember talking to businesses from Coimbatore personally.
Oh.
Okay.
There is one member asked a question. Is there any one-time charge to avail this services?
No, they are having 500 customers. The earlier question is also from the same person. We
Yes.
are dealing with 500 customers. Is there any one-time charge? Also, will this work for national clients only or international too?
Right. I think let me answer this question. There are 2 questions, right? One is about 500 customers and one-time charge. Second is international customer to work. So first is if you are having a 500 customers, we can enable you in 2 plans. One is either a standard plan, which is 1,200 per month, or it is a executive plan, 2,500 per month. Is your yearly cost for the membership. And if you want to opt for collections, there is a 1.8% or 1% collection fee every time you collect successfully. If you don't want a collection fee, if you want to reduce the collection fee part of it, we can customize your plan. So typically, if you're asking me what it would cost you every year for 500 customers, it will not cost you more than 500 rupees more than 5 rupees per customer year on year if you're using our platform. That is the answer to your first question. Second question, I think, will this work for national clients only or international too? So at this standpoint, we are only offering this for national only MSMEs in India for collections. When it comes to international reports, we are offering only for USA, which means if you are working with if you want to offer credit to any US company, you can check the payment history of that US company on our platform before offering credit. So we have enabled it only for US. Going forward, we will be enabling it for other countries also, because a lot of businesses from India do export and do offer credit and go through a lot of hassle of LC and so much of export process. So by taking so much of it, so we will be offering other country reports also.
Because that services will help basically for the exporters wanted to export, so that the larger volume of export can take place if they understand the customer behavior and then the credit history of that particular customer.
Correct.
And there is another question. How to convince the customers enroll in this? Some are MNC companies, some are limited companies. They have their own procedures to release. So my view, this is for your services. Basically, core area is MSME industries. No, not for at the moment. You focus more on MSME industries.
Yes, but let me take that question. I think this question he's asking how to convince customers. So in fact, first, I'll take this but with an example. Let's say if an MSME has submitted the due of, let's say, some XYZ limited company, which is a large company, right? Now MSME is supposed to get money from this XYZ large limited company. Now it is Recordent's responsibility to communicate with large company and make them understand how important it is for the whole process to pay upon time. So it is MSME need not to do anything to convince the customer. It is our platform which does all the convincing part and creating awareness and creating the urgency to pay up. That is one. Second is, Shekhar Garu, you just made a comment that we are focusing on MSMEs. Absolutely, you are right. We are only focusing on MSMEs. What is very interesting is in the last 60 days, though our focus has been our MSMEs, in the last 60 days, large MNCs and even Bombay stock exchange listed companies have come on our platform and started using the platform.
Oh, great, great.
That has been very interesting because they're seeing this platform as an integral part for them, and that has been very encouraging for us.
Oh, really interesting, really interesting. So,
Is there all any other questions from participants? If there are anything, please.
So going forward, your platform has got a capability to cater the entire the MSME requirements. So that you has the capability and bandwidth.
Yes, we have the capability and bandwidth. In fact, from next week onwards, we are launching even trade credit insurance through our platform. Any MSME wants to insure their invoice when they offer the goods. It is now available through the platform. We are enabling that. And if any MSC wants to have a physical collection agent to be hired, we are enabling through that platform. What we have done is we have partnered with all collection agencies in the country. If somebody wants to have a physical collection agency also, then if any MSME is already suffering from a very bad debt or a very bad customer, we have also enabled e-arbitration legal debt settlement on our platform. So we have creating this platform in such a way it is one-stop solution for MSMEs to deal with their customer payments completely. It is good payments, bad customers, everything. So that is a sort of the direction that we are taking. We have already enabled legal debt settlement, e-arbitration, physical collection agencies, trade credit insurance, all four already on the platform.
Oh, it's good. Can you throw some light on the trade insurance part of it? Suppose with the examples like.
Yes. So, for example, let us say a manufacturer from Chennai is sending out a 1 crore worth of goods, right? And he has received, let's say, only 50 lakh rupees as an advance for his goods, and remaining 50 lakhs he will only receive after he sends the goods. Right now, there can be multiple cases that can happen here in this trade credit insurance. One is, of course, after the goods are reached to the particular customer, right? In let's say it is in Bombay, so he sent it to Bombay, and then but customer is not paying that 50 lakhs now, right? Goods are received, customer is not paying 50 lakhs. MSME is suffering here. If in this case, when raising the invoice for that 50 lakhs, if the MSME in Chennai, manufacturer in Chennai, if it takes a trade credit insurance by paying a nominal amount of the entire order, it is as less as 0.25% for the insurance premium. If he pays for it, that 50 lakhs which the customer is now not paying, right? Now insurance agent will see for a certain number of months. If he is not paying, finally is defaulting, then insurance company will pay that amount, 85% of that amount, to the MSME that manufactures in Chennai. So basically, a manufacturer is not at the loss because if he has taken a trade credit insurance.
Whether I have a doubt, whether the credit risk insurance in India it is legally permitted by IRDA at the moment?
Yes, it is legally permitted for all goods, but services it is not.
Oh, service it is not. Okay,
yes.
Okay, fine. So that with the process, due process, they have to wait for it, and then after 3 months only, they'll be, in case that buyer is not making the payment, he'll be getting 85% of the insured value.
Correct.
Okay. In that also, Recordent collect any service fee?
No, we don't.
Okay, fine. So there is another question. then if we can convince the MNC, this app will work, right? This is one question. How many days will it take collect the old dues? There are two questions.
Three, sir.
After that, yes.
3 questions. There are one more. In case any issues are there between suppliers and customers.
Supplies. What role you play in resolution recovery? I think if you could.
Yeah, there are two things that can happen on the platform. Once a business submits the dues on our platform, the customer gets the report. In the report, he has the option to raise dispute. If the raise dispute is then the raise dispute resolution mechanism is built in the technology framework in our platform. One is that. Second, if that is not happening through that, like if business wants to avail e-arbitration, we call it e-arbitration in the sense a mediation party will be talking to them through a completely an electronic format, either through emails or through like calls like this to resolve that issue for that recovery. So both such options are there through the platform. So that is the answer for the question. I think next question you're talking about, if we can convince MNCs this app will work, right? I'm not able to understand your question exactly, but let me read it in a way. If you are saying, if we are making MSMEs, MNCs or large companies convinced to pay on time, this product will be successful is what you are saying. I would agree definitely with that. In fact, in many cases, we have seen MSMEs through our platform, they came and submitted dues against ITC, against Reliance, against some of the large hotel groups. And all of them, interesting is all of these large hotel groups and ITC, all of them started paying back within 1 week after submitting dues itself, because largely some of these large companies, don't want to really, just get troubled for small things, especially for payments. So that we have observed. So that, but it is too early to say how large companies will get really convinced. But we are seeing it in a very positive direction at this point of time.
I think another question is you were talking about the dispute recovery mechanism. You charge for anything for the arbitration you do services for the customer.
So what we do, arbitration is through our partner. So it is a case-to-case basis. So what we do is the moment it is passed on to our partner, arbitration partner through our platform, so they get in touch and understand the case on a case-to-case basis. So the charges for arbitration are completely based upon the kind of case it is, which is basically based upon the amount of due and the age of the due, size of the due, all of that.
So you said that the partner is a legal law firm, so they'll take care of the arbitration.
Correct.
Fine. Right.
How many days it will take to collect the old dues?
A very interesting question, very subjective. There are businesses who are able to collect within 1 week after submitting dues. There are businesses which have been able to collect within 30, 45 days. So it is varying. It is very difficult for us to comment at this point of time how many days it will take. But generally, we have observed a good timeline is around 60 days, if I have to give you an average. But yeah, it is difficult to comment. But definitely, we have seen it is not getting extended too old. So sometimes it's even happening in 2-3 days also.
Oh, very
good. I saw in your presentation, your notification is very soft and gentle. It's more of awareness also. How the customers or how the client is responding of that particular messages.
So the way the customer is looking at the entire model is very different, because we also started talking to the customers in the case study that I have mentioned about the electrical component manufacturer. The distributors' details are what they have submitted, and we started talking to the distributors, and distributors have started giving us feedback that they have not considered any of these notifications as a collections notifications or as a payments notification. They have looked at it as some platform, my track record is getting recorded. Okay, they're telling me, which means the Recordent is basically telling me and conveying me how I can pay and ensure this record gets better and better. So majority of them are, because they're also able to see the report, they're seeing the report, and the majority of them are seeing this report and trying to figure out how to make this happen. So we are helping them in that manner. Majority of them have not considered any of our notifications or communications in any collection agency and so on and so forth. So it is a very new concept. It is encouraging, motivating, at the same time telling them if you don't pay, your Recordent score gets bad. So we are able to show both sides of it. What is the advantage? What is the disadvantage? So we are leaving it to their wisdom of how do you want to be in the market.
Okay. Great, great. And you were talking about trade finance risk insurance. When the person is now enrolling and they are uploading their invoices, and some of the customers, they feel that collection will be taking time. If at this juncture, because the trade insurance has to be taken before initiating the transaction. But this transaction, suppose the customer is already completed, whether you offer any kind of a facility to cover through the risk insurance?
No, generally the case is that it should happen within a certain time frame, right?
Yeah.
If that is not happening in certain time frame, it is definitely a difficult task, because it is like customer knows, okay, already some time has passed now, or I got signals from the customer he is going to default. That is why I'm going to trade insurance. So in such cases, insurance company is at risk. So insurance company would keep a limit on the.
Okay.
Typically, they would go with on the day of invoice, or before invoice, or after raising the invoice within a week. Basically, a due date should not be crossed, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so on an extreme case side, but generally it is always recommended whenever you are raising up the invoice itself.
Who's providing this credit risk insurance?
So
Which insurance?
Tata AIG. We are again, Tata AIG is our partner through their agent platform that is connected to our system.
Okay. Is there any minimum limit or maximum limit? Any kind of a limit is fixed for the trade risk insurance per transactions?
No, it is basically going to be after they do a what I call is a little bit of study on the kind of goods and value of goods. All of that would take place. So there is no limit as such, because your premium is dependent upon the value of the goods and value of the invoice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any members has got any questions?
If there are no questions,
So maybe I have one question.
yeah, please.
Yeah. Recordent is a private company. How the customer will see that this information is authentic, or with that information, what we can do as a vendor or Recordent as a company? Suppose you approach a big company like Reliance or Tata. How does it matter for them?
So generally, what happens is that when a business submits the due, first and the foremost authentication is that when business submits the invoice, that data submitted by the business is authenticated by the business itself. When we communicate to the customer, we mention this is how it is. The second piece, if you are talking about, is since Recordent as a private company, the customer considers that there is some noise. So how customer is considering this private company as a serious note or not, if that is your question. In most cases, if you see whether it is MSME or any of these startups or new companies, majority of the time they only work with new data and tech companies, right? All of them have started in the last 10-15 years. So the mentality of these businesses that we have observed, they don't have definitely a question on, okay, is Recordent a small company or a large company, or the government company or non-government company? But I think largely what they're looking at it is what is going to happen with this tech platform, right? And thanks to all the digitalization that we have seen, there is a lot of things that have been introduced to businesses across the country, which people didn't even know about it, right? So all of them are sort of new companies. So that factor of known factor is completely gone in the segment. So that is why we are also observing how businesses customers are taking seriously about the platform and clearing dues.
There is one question. How do you prepare a credit report of a company as all the customers of the company may not upload invoices? He's saying that.
No, so correct. As a Satyanarayana please question, I can see the question. So what he's asking is how to prepare a credit report of the company if you don't upload all the invoices. So when MSME submits, let's say 10 dues, right? The customer will get a report on how at a due level, how their record is looking like. So we don't give score because no one understands what is 700 means or what a 600 means, because it's not a civil score or it's not anybody's score. This nobody understands it. So we provide information in a more consumable manner, how many days you are not able to pay this particular due to this particular business. So this report gives you a raw information that is easily consumable so that it can make decisions faster. So that is how the credit report is going to look like. It's not going to come up with any score. So there is no factor as such if I am having all customers on the platform or few customers on the platform. So typically, if you have all the customers, your record looks complete because you have information on every set of a due and all and the payments that you make. If you're at only few, then there is going to be information only on few.
Okay. And the other question is, what would be the approximate premium of trade risk insurance? I think you mentioned in the percentage wise.
It is basically based upon the size of the invoice and the value of the goods. This is completely dependent on that. It is very difficult to comment how it would turn out to be. But happy to take this question offline and connect you with our expert who is in the trade risk. And if Andhra Chambers is okay, if you think we should do one complete session on trade risk insurance, we will be happy to do that, because it's a huge subject in itself, and definitely there will be lots of questions in this area. We would be happy to do that with all of you.
Yeah, naturally, it is entirely a bigger subject to discuss about it.
Sure.
Yeah. So
If there is no question, we can close the session.
I have one question. When you are dealing with large organizations, there will be a huge, big hierarchy, and you will select the person to whom it is addressed, or you will take from the client and you will address that to that particular person.
I don't think I'll be able to follow your question. Repeat it.
See, when you are dealing with the large organizations, there is a huge, big hierarchy, and then you will select a person to whom to address this issue, or you will collect that information from us and then you address to that particular person.
No, whenever a business is submitting dues on our platform, while submitting the dues in the platform itself, we ask for the concerned person's name from the customer. It could be a CFO or it is a director or whatever the name, We'll start with approaching from there on. We also use data from the MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, to reach up to the higher level to sensitize. So in many cases, we have done that, especially with large organizations like ITCs and some of them, where it has gone to the higher level in understanding this due has been pending for a particular MSME for a very longer time. So that is also a smart process that we do.
Good. Great. It is a great information. I think it will be very useful to all our members. I think very low cost base of recovery kind of thing, support for the MSME. I think people can start using it. I think, as you said, the trade risk insurance, maybe one-on-one people who wanted to more information, maybe they can get in touch with you, and then maybe they can take more inputs before proceeding further.
Sure, definitely. If we are okay as Andhra Chambers, if you think we should be, if it is helpful for the members of the trade risk insurance, we will be able to organize a session on that.
Because the trade risk insurance has got not only the payment default, maybe during the transit time, some accident or some kind of risk is happening. That how it is get covered and how it gets protected, all details is being given. Then the businessman who are running more confident, protected, and also he can freely do the business without any kind of attention to such.
Absolutely correct.
Mr. Winny, I have last question. Since you're working with a lot of SMEs and MSMEs, it's basically an academic question. Do you find any MSMEs with a negative working capital cycle?
MSMEs having issues with working capital?
A negative working capital cycle. I just wanted to see the percentage of that, because you projected 80% or 90% all. But do you find some healthy MSMEs, their negative working capital cycle is there?
Yeah, so we found the information from our research about businesses closing down. What are the reasons for closing down? But the MSMEs which are operating at this standpoint, we have not completely done the research to answer the question. But yeah, it's a good question that you have. Maybe we will start looking into this to do as we continue to doing research. We will consider this as a point to gather information.
You do that, some kind of interesting part you will be generating for MSMEs and all, rather than showing the bad figures. The good part also you should show.
Oh, definitely, you should.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Winny. Wonderful to interact.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much. Pleasure is mine.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Madam,
Thank you.
we can conclude the session, madam.
Yeah, sure, sir. If there are no questions, then we'll conclude the session. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Winny for the excellent presentation, and it is very insightful. And I'm sure that we haven't heard of such a platform or such a thing. Are you not agreeing with me, Mr. Shekhar? Because
Yes,
there are many people who complain to us about the dues. Nobody has come forward to tell us that there is a platform, to collect the dues, and this is one such forum. And in fact, Mr. Bharat Nistala has been after me for the past 5 months to organize this program. Somehow our month gets filled up on so many programs, so I could not get back to him. So thanks to Mr. Bharat also for coordinating me continuously with me for this organizing this program. I'm sure that the participants here today would have been benefited out of this, and they would have they would definitely come forward to take up the service, which will be very useful for them. And our president could not join you today because she was having other prior engagement, so she could not join us. She also wanted to convey the best wishes for the program. So on behalf of her, we would like to present a small memento to Mr. Winny.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is a small memento to Mr. Winny for the excellent presentation and for joining us today. And I also thank Mr. Shekhar, the co-chairman of Banking, Finance and Subcommittee, and Mr. Kailash Mazumdar, the chairman of Banking and Finance Subcommittee, and all the EC members and the participant industry members, not only from Chennai, but also from Hyderabad, Vizag and Vijayawada, they have participated in today's program. I thank you all, and I look forward to many opportunities to, have programs with you, Mr. Winny. Thank you.
Thank you, Winny. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Recording closed.